You saying to me that
Yes.
this might have something to do with shutting down competition and making sure that these very few people who are often heard are the monopoly on news and information, and that this isn't really
Yes.
about doing anything that they're saying it's about? John, I cannot believe
Yes.
that you would say that. Now, look,
know.
I want to be very clear here. My audience knows that in 1999, I was assistant manager at Electronics Boutique in Broadway Mall, Hicksville, Long Island, which is now known as GameStop, having nothing to do with the whole GameStop stock situation. But I was a big video game guy. And the truth is, I did eat magic mushrooms after playing Super Mario Brothers. So I can't sit here and tell you that video games don't do anything. But of course, this is all nonsense.
Right.
The idea that music or video games or even movies, that any of these things lead to violence. First off, there's no study that's ever proven it. There's actually been studies that have proven that video games are a way of lessening violence, meaning you get some of that aggression out. But the idea that you would go after any of these things in a free society, it's like, well, okay, then what is okay for us to listen to? Who should watch the watchers, in essence? If there's going to be a group of people that say, okay, this music is okay, these video games are okay, these, whatever else it is, these CDs are okay or whatever. Well, guess what? That's just going to become narrower and narrower and narrower. And by the way, I mean, this is so consistent, John, of course, with everything else that we see in society, where the Overton window is just completely shrinking.
Yep.
The main people who have been in charge for the last 30, 40 years, they're losing control. They don't like guys like you. They don't like guys like me. And you know what they really don't like? The people that watch us.
Well, they're really mad because if they actually talk to us, it's impossible not to like guys like us. Dave, we're fun guys. We like to listen.
Come on.
It's interesting though. I remember getting some arguments with my parents because I got caught up in this because I would, take a record to my parents and say, "Can I buy this?" And of course, it had that stupid sticker on there, and I wasn't getting.
I remember the sticker.
I wasn't getting the record then in that case, and so I was mad at Tipper Gore for that. But I do see a parallel here for what Dee Snider was talking about. When it comes to cable news, you have a choice. You have a choice to subscribe or not, and which channels you get to watch. And what's consistent here is that Democrats, they want the government to be our parents.
John, what a moment there that Dee Snider of 30 years ago talking to Congress is more valuable and sensible than anything we hear out of Congress today. The way he talks to them about being a parent and responsibility. And it's not the government's job, in essence, to police what we can and can't hear. But, Soledad O'Brien, which is where this story started, I mean, this is a woman who was a special correspondent for Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is the state-funded news organization of Qatar. Is Qatar known as a place of freedom? Actually, the Qatari government was also using slave labor to build their World Cup soccer stadium not too long ago. Are we okay with that?
Well, Soledad O'Brien, she clearly is okay with it. Obviously, the hypocrisy runs deep with this whole hearing. It was designed to be chilling, and I think it's a harbinger of what we're going to see more of in the future as long as Democrats control both the House and the Senate.
Well, the real question is, so what outside view would they deem okay? I mean, if they have their set views that they think are okay, well, then what they'll really say to you, and this is what the real issue is that they're doing, is they're going to say that any Republican or conservative or right-leaning person who makes a difference, actually makes a difference, will have to be banned and censored and kicked off social media, not allowed to have a TV channel and any of that stuff. What they will love, you know what they'll love? They'll love the Mitt Romneys. They'll love the half Republicans that they can pat on the head and put on MSNBC that never accomplish anything except furthering the Democrat agenda. I mean, that's just the sad truth. So they'll pretend. I mean, that's sort of controlled opposition. It'll be like, oh, we're going to get rid of all the people that really scare us, that actually say something and do something counter to our beliefs. And we'll keep around the pets who never accomplish anything, but they have an R next to their name. Thus, it will make us look good and tolerant.
That's right. It'll be just like Nancy Pelosi's January 6th commission. It'll be like 8 Democrats and 2 Republicans who behave themselves. And MSNBC, the M will stand for milk toast, really. Dave, let's talk about Florida a little bit. I know you've been traveling there quite a lot lately, as you should. A lot of people are. But Governor DeSantis continues to be the target from the mainstream media. Throughout this pandemic, though, the media has attacked his style of governing, really attacking his success here. But this, again, is what I have identified as perhaps the most cynical, even more cynical than me, Dave, the most cynical thing the media has done so far in 2021. NBC News reported this, quote, Governor DeSantis, a Republican, ignored federal guidelines and prioritized getting senior citizens, one of Florida's most potent voting blocs, vaccinated first. You know, you got to give Ron DeSantis credit for ignoring federal guidelines. That's why Florida has been so successful.
That NBC headline is truly one of the most perverse things that has come out of the mainstream media in a long time. And that says a lot because mainstream media is pretty horrible. Yes, Florida has the second oldest population. And what did he do? He ignored federal guidelines and he gave the older population that we know, those are the people who die, usually people over 80 with comorbidities. He took care of them. But it's even more twisted what they did there because the implication was, why did he do it? Just for votes.
Just for votes.
It wasn't because he wanted to save old people's lives. But I can tell you this, John, you know, I was just in Florida for 10 days and man, it's looking good over there. It's not just that things are open. It's not just that businesses are doing okay and people are making decisions for themselves. It literally is that people are happy.
Yep.
I am now in Los Angeles, California, at least for now. We're doing a big show tomorrow all about the recall and what's going on here. So we'll see how long I stay. But there is such a stark difference in what is happening in the states in this country. And by the way, for those of us that care about the Constitution, in a way, this is how it all was supposed to work, that some states would start making really bad decisions and some would make some good decisions. But if I was a guy like you in Florida, I'd be considering building a wall because what happens when all of those San Francisco people come? You have to at least train them to go, hey, do you know why you're leaving? Because you're coming here because we did it right. And, you know, I say it sort of tongue in cheek, but the truth is that Floridians are really going to have to do that, like really sell why Florida is good so that the people who are